Welcome to the Outer Rim Rookie Beginner's Journey to join the 501st and Rebel Legion. My name is Rob Williams. Today is it's a special episode today. We're going to talk about the starting stages of building a costume. I thought this would be unique because Dan here, say hello, Dan.
Hello, Dan.
Dan, a member of the Outer Rim Garrison, our GML, the one who helps approve costumes for the Outer Rim Garrison at 501st. Him and me have decided to get together and build a costume as a duo, as a pair.
We are a duo.
Yeah, it's not like one's the horse's ass and one's the horse's front. It's more like we are trying to build a cloud car pilot costume. And as you saw last episode, as we went through our top 5 list, this is something that we have genuinely talked about and thought of very seriously. At first, it started as a joke, kind of talking about, I seriously wanted to do it. I even mentioned on my top 10 list about a couple of years ago. And since then, we talked, as you and me were discussing it and just throwing the idea around it as discussions go, it became a little more like, we can probably do this.
Yeah,
I think this is possible.
Yeah,
there are a lot of challenges to this costume, but and next episode after this, I will go into a bit of the history of who are the cloud car pilots, because they have names. The 2 cloud car pilots actually have names.
They
and
do.
We will, one is Duncan Hickmat, and he's the one with a nice Tom Selleck mustache, and the other one's Jel Spiel. And for some reason he's German now.
It just come on, Spiel, come on.
Again, we'll get into more of the history of the character and how they actually have a history of how they got there well. But the purpose of today's episode is to try and plan out. We're going to do it in real time. How do we plan out this costume? How do we build this thing? Where do we go? What are the things we need to look at? And I've been collecting photographs of I've been doing a ton of research just to prepare for the episode about these 2 characters, but also just to, as we build every costume, we have to do the research. What's the CRL, or in this case, since this is Rebel Legion, what's the costume standards? What do you know so far about this costume, Dan?
It's a hard one.
Why is it?
Well, there really isn't a CRL for it. And the pictures that are of it, it's a maquette or it's from an action figure.
Yeah.
Or like I don't believe that there was actually actual physical costumes made from it.
As far as I know, there is no approved costume of this one.
Yeah. So
I told my friends that I was seriously thinking about this, and I've told a few friends, not a lot, but a few. They were like, yeah, of course you're picking the most complicated one. Nyan Nun was a complicated costume, not just for the head, but you don't see waist down a lot of the character. You don't know what his feet look like too well, or his spats, but they have a bunch approved. Same with 10 Nun, and even just trying to figure out the difference between 10 Nun and 9 Nun. And then my reuse costume, everything was in the freaking dark. And it was hard to figure out what he looked like. And so now I'm picking a costume. Not only is it hard to figure out what he looks like, in canon, there is no waist down. We never see waist down, because the whole character is just a maquette. There is no live action person in this costume. And I thought differently, because when we looked at, did you collect the action figures when you were a kid?
I did. Do
you remember what the card looked like for Cloud Car Pilot?
I don't actually.
It was a picture of this guy in a cloud car. It looked like it was taken in a garage. It was just a dark room. There's his head, there's the ship, and it's just, there it is. And I thought that was a real person. And apparently it was a photograph of the maquette and the model. That's it. And it's the same picture used when they reintroduced the action figure years later. And and a lot of the designs of the action figures are very different from what the actual maquette looks like.
Yeah.
But what's one of the questions I want to ask you is,
Hmm.
as a person who goes through the GML, who
Hmm.
is a GML and goes through the costume standards,
Hmm.
what's the problem in building a costume based on an action figure?
Normally it's not accurate.
Yeah.
Like sure, it's accurate to a point, but again, if you know, again, a lot of these action figures when they're made, they're kind of given the idea, okay, this is roughly, or they're giving concept drawings of what this person is going to look like. I
Mhm.
would assume. I don't know the ins and outs of making action figures. I just have a whole bunch of them. Um,
You saw
but
how toys are made, and that's as close as we got
exactly,
to.
but I can, I'm assuming with a lot of the action figures is that, like for example, the Rei's action figure, his boots are completely different
Yep.
from what's actual canon. And so there's that, looking at
Every
the, yeah, sorry.
every Ree's character is action figure is different from the last action figure.
Exactly.
The
Yeah.
belt's different, the
Yeah.
the head's different, the
Yeah.
blasters are different, the
Yeah.
boots, knee pads, everything. And
Yeah.
in fact, I don't think there's an actual action figure that is accurate fully to the actual character.
No, I don't think there is one, but he's in your possession.
Yeah, because you painted him now.
Exactly.
You actually, I asked you to paint him and to make this accurate. This is the only accurate action figure we have of
Yeah.
Reese.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty good
It
replica,
was
if I
a
do say so
it was a
myself.
damn good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I think it is that there's just so many variations that you can't really, you know, poke it down, sort of thing.
And a
Yeah.
lot of the action figures we see, the very familiar design of a cloud car pilot,
Hmm.
when you do suddenly recognize it, is, well, there is the, I'm going to say iconic for lack of a better word, the
Hmm.
recognizable bowl for a
Hmm.
head. I mean, you have the orange uh, sides with a
Hmm.
white dot, and then you have these ridges that go
Yeah.
up in there. And then the whole suit is that you see in action figures is usually white with a bit of orange. There's an orange circle here with a
Hmm.
design. Then they have this yellow boots with yellow knee padish stripes and
Hmm.
yellow gloves. And sometimes they hold a blaster, sometimes they don't. And none of that is accurate,
No.
except for
No.
maybe the head. The helmet
That
shape, the most accurate part of it.
if yeah, yeah, but like for example, is it 9 bumps or is it 10 bumps?
Well, it's 10 ridges.
Yeah,
And,
10. Yeah.
the reason we bring that up because there is a guy in England. He he makes he's the only guy I've seen that makes this helmet, and it looks really good, but
Hmm.
it's only got 9 ridges.
Yeah.
And at that point, our OCD of 501st starts thinking, or Rebel Legion in this case,
Yeah.
like this might not be approvable if it's short a ridge.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then again, the challenge of this thing is any of this approvable? Would they approve something like this?
Well, let's find out.
Well, okay, so that took me to
Hmm.
talking to some friends. Um, One of the biggest questions is, there's no costume standard for this particular character. When if
Hmm.
you have another character, there's no costume standard for. How do you start the process? How do you know you'll be allowed to do it, or you're just wasting all your time? You put all this time and effort, you've done your research, you put it together, and they say, no, we're not going to allow that to happen. Which
Well,
kind of sucks.
first of all, though, you're not. What if you're building a costume that you like? You're never wasting your time because you're
That's
you're
very true.
you're you're building something that you want. And to be honest with you, if it's not approvable, I know in our brains it's just like, oh, you've got to get it approved. But
Yeah.
really, if we can't, it's not a big deal. We're still going to have a kick-ass costume anyways.
I agree
Yeah.
with that. I think
Yeah.
part of me wants to have it. It's that acceptance part of being, this is, this is accepted by the Rebel Legion. I
Hmm.
want this, and I want a troop in it too,
Hmm.
because if
Hmm.
a lot of the rules is if you don't have a costume that's approved by the Legion or by the Rebel Legion or
Hmm.
501st, you really can't be there taking pictures. It's not fair because then
Yeah.
anybody can show up and say, well, I'm not approved, but I got a costume. It looks it looks like
Yeah.
Boba Fett.
Yeah.
but it's just like it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It's a blurred line, and I want to do it right. I
Yeah.
want to do good by
Yeah.
the Legion and make sure we do the process.
Yeah.
But I also want to make sure that uh, we do this so well that they can't deny it. And
Exactly.
the process,
Exactly.
and not to throw shade, but the process of approving a rebel costume is sometimes it's more complicated,
Hmm.
and just because of the communication when it comes to on the boards, I have troubles communicating on a board. For me,
Yeah.
it's hard. Other people like doing that, and so after talking to some friends, I found out that the first step you have to do, I found a section on the forum where you can start the talks.
Hmm.
The costume, I have this Jedi that was in this episode of this TV show that I want to build.
Hmm.
And here's the research I've done, and here's
Hmm.
this, and here's this, and it starts the ball rolling.
Yeah.
And I've already done that. I've already put that
Oh.
forward. And I haven't heard any word yet, but it is a start.
Hmm. It's a good
Now,
start.
it is a good start, and sometimes it stops you in your tracks right away. And I'm hoping that's not what happens here,
No.
because you and me looked at the original design of the character of the Cloud Car pilot,
Hmm.
and it is what the action figures are based off of,
Hmm.
and what the design concept is very different from the actual maquette they used.
Hmm.
Did you see the pictures of the original maquette that I had sent you a while back?
Yes. Yes. Actually, I was looking at them the other day.
It's very cool, isn't it?
Hmm.
It's
Oh,
go ahead,
if
sorry.
if it like if you didn't like if you did a little bit of photo editing, you wouldn't even think it was a maquette. Like you would just it looked pretty dope. Like I like it.
The I was fortunate enough to find images, like real life images,
Hmm.
from it was Empire Strikes Back, the Blu-ray collection of behind the scenes. There was a short, I think it was a 5-minute episode on the cloud cars
Hmm.
and how they filmed it. And then they show it was beautiful, clear Blu-ray quality picture of the actual maquettes that they used. And
Hmm.
it's got some lovely rust orange
Hmm.
on the shoulders, which have ridges just like the helmet.
Hmm.
It's the same orange that's on the helmet that's on the shoulders, and then it has these ridges that go right across the top on the lats. And there is no orange section here. It's
Hmm.
actually a name tag,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the original name tag said Gemmel of the
Really?
original sculpt. Yeah, and it's funny because I have a friend who I was a best man at his wedding, whose last name was Gemmel, so it sticks out to me immediately. I
Hmm.
don't know if that was on the original maquette when they filmed it, but the bust that I also found pictures of,
Hmm.
it was for sale like a few years back for a couple $100s, and it's a beautiful design, and it's got the ridges on the shoulders, ridges on the lats, a
Hmm.
name tag here, which you and me had talked about. That
Hmm.
could be our Hikmat and Spiel
Hmm.
name right there.
Yeah.
And if we decide to, we can take it off and replace it with the orange circle just for fun. It's removable, just like
Yeah.
you have those what were we talking about the officers have though.
Oh, the rare earth magnets.
Yeah,
Uh,
but it's
oh,
what's that thing called again?
oh, the
The
rank
rank
bar.
bars.
The
Rank
rank
bars.
bars. Yeah.
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 So
But we attach them with rare earth magnets.
yeah, and that's an easy one to off and
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Other parts of the costume, it's how would you describe the collar of this thing?
It kind of reminds me of a cross between a Mandarin type jacket, but yet a chef's jacket as well. It's
Yeah, I
kind
remember
of
you talking like a sushi chef or something,
yeah,
like a
yeah,
kimono.
yeah, 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 yeah,
It
yeah.
comes across. It doesn't zip up or anything. It
Mhm,
just like a robe or
mhm.
something like that.
Like even I want to. No, that's a bad example. I was gonna say like Luke Skywalker's, like the black one that he wears on Empire, where it kind of folds over. But no, it's
No, I know
completely the
what you're
wrong
saying.
design. Yeah.
No, but it does. I see what you're going at, where it comes across a little bit more rather than just like a button up or a zip.
Yeah.
And it's got a almost not a popped collar, but it does have a bit of a high collar. Where you said Mandarin, that's the one without any collar at all. It
Yeah.
just comes
It's
around like
just a,
that, right?
yeah, it's just a straight, it just goes around and it kind of has that little slit. Well, that little gap, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like most officers have, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's similar, but yeah,
Similar but not.
similar but not. Yeah, because
And
the
that's the
officers are
challenge.
close.
And that's a
Yeah.
challenge with this costume because just like clone troopers, originally there were no clone troopers. It was all CGI. There was no real life costume that anybody could fit into. And so it's easier to create this thing by hand, by sculpting, than it is to actually build it and put it on a real life person. But there was also this round disc in the front here. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a communication device or what the purpose of it is, but it's right there. And I think that's easy to do. You can 3D print something like that. And it's got the most basic of shapes. It's almost like the pi symbol where it goes like that with two lines and like that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we could just 3D
That's an
print
easy
it.
3D print,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know
but
if anybody's out there that knows how to do stuff like that. Is it Generation X-Wing at gmail.com?
The helmet's going to be tricky.
It is.
The helmet, we see a lot of action figures use a yellow visor where it's not yellow, it's black. It's a old black visor, almost reminiscent of Bret the Hitman Hart without the rainbow pinkish to it. But so you got the salad, yeah, the best there ever was. But he has this big giant helmet, and I was told it's very similar to a lot of the Rebel Fleet Trooper helmets. It's got that same shape.
Yeah.
There was I remember Terry was talking to me about this. He's got a great eye for these things. He was talking about how it's similar to a lot of World War II helmets, or World War One. I can't remember. He said World War One or two, but they were like radio officers, and the helmet was big, and it just kind of covered the back a bit. It had that, and a lot of those helmets that we see in the Rebel Fleet Troopers, your naval troopers that you were talking about, they have those same sort of bowl heads. And I think that's where the concept comes from.
Well, they were all like, you got to remember, a lot of the uniforms or a lot of the things that they used in Star Wars were old military surplus. Like, like the Imperial gunner helmet. It's basically it's the fleet officer helmet, just with the another backing on the bottom.
With a jaw on the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much, well, it pretty much is the same helmet.
And there's attachments to it that a lot of people don't realize. There's these weird little devices, these greeblies that you have the goggles, or the visor, I should say, and then you have these two metal things that sit on either side, almost as if they're like you can look into. I don't know what the purpose of it is. I don't know, you read sensors or something, but it's like right there next to the eyes, and it's really cool. It's attached to the helmet, comes out and sits right there.
They remind me, remember back in the day when we could go to like joke shops and they had those little glasses, or those little things that you'd stick on the, and it'd be like, see who's following behind you.
That's exactly what I was thinking about. Yeah, I didn't know how to word it. It's like rear view mirrors for your head.
Yeah.
But this time it's turned in, so it's like you're looking right into your own eyeball or something.
That would be surreal. It's, oh my God, I keep on looking at my eyes.
And they also had a lot of the action figures had a yellow I don't want to say tunic, but almost like a balaclava. It kind of goes over the head. What do you call it? I think the TIE pilots, don't they have these type of
yeah, we have balaclavas.
Are they balaclavas?
Yeah, they're balaclavas. Yeah.
But your chin sticks out as opposed to covering your face.
You can, the one that I have, like, you can move it down or you can have it up. Oh, it all depends. Yeah.
Okay, so this one's a black one as well. The action figures is yellow, but in the maquette, I'm looking at the picture right here, it's all black. So
really?
You have, it's all black here, and then it attaches here, and you have black balaclava.
See, that's easy.
It's very simple. It's a very simple design.
Yeah.
The gloves, they look to be just simple orange pilot gloves. They don't seem too complicated, which is another bonus.
Were they pilot gloves, or were they just yellow? What I thought they were like dish gloves.
Yeah, you and me were talking how it can be simple orange dish gloves,
Yeah.
like rubber gloves. And
Yeah.
didn't the stormtroopers just have black rubber gloves?
This, well, yeah, they were, the original ones were like a black chemical glove
Okay.
with a thing put on it, like their hand guard. But yeah, yeah, same thing, just black.
There was an orange stripe that runs from the shoulder pads down to the glove. And
Hmm.
so that's going to be a bit tricky to do. I don't know how we can possibly do that. Um,
Probably sew on, get a couple pieces of. See, what I figured we would do is, because the from what I can remember, I don't, unfortunately, I'm just going by memory. I don't have the image in front of me. But weren't, okay, so they were ribbed, right? So what we could
the
probably,
shoulder pad, yeah, the shoulder pad were
yeah,
ribs, almost like three or four. No,
yeah,
actually, I would say one, two, three, four, about five.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we can probably even do that with by just sewing in like a line. Do you know what I mean? Like just sewing
Yeah.
it in there and then just sewing it onto the jacket that we decide to go with.
Is this something that we might have to hit up a tailor possibly to help us out with?
I can't sew worse shit.
Yeah,
So
I don't know if I could
probably,
pull this one off, like sewing this one here, but
yeah,
it might be worth looking into seeing if we can find someone who can do this.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
doesn't look like a complicated costume, but it doesn't look like something we could do ourselves.
Probably. Well, I don't know. I don't know. It's. I'd have to do a little bit more. Like again, if we get like the jacket like dead on, and then we can probably figure out how to do the accoutrements to it. But it's the accoutrements that might be a little bit too technical for us.
Well, here's where it gets tricky. Since
Hmm.
it's only waist up, what does
Hmm.
the waist down look like? And we had talked about this, like we might have to design it ourselves
Hmm.
based on the original design of the sketch,
Hmm.
but still, but since the sketch is not realistic to what it actually looks like, we might have to incorporate both
Hmm.
because the original sketch had it almost like this thick yellow stripe that goes from the knee down to the boots, and then the matching yellow boots, almost like a spat
Hmm.
in a way. And
Hmm.
if we replace that with one of two things, one, an orange, we have the orange stripe from the knee down, replace the yellow with orange,
Hmm.
and then an orange boot or with spat,
Hmm.
or the yellow orange stripe and just black boots like they do with the tie pilots, like
Hmm.
they do with like Wilrow Hoods, X-wing pilots. They just use a black boot.
That sounds more like, if like again, if we're gonna, sorry, if we're gonna do it like the way, you would think, okay, well they'll probably go with the what they had available and real world stuff. So if they were going to make a costume, it only does think to, they had extra tie pilot boots or X-wing pilot boots. Most likely they would wear those because it's a military type style boot, I guess.
Yeah.
But yet add a spat to it, you can hide the fact that it's an X-wing pilot boot or a tie pilot boot.
And this is where the whole problem starts to become visible. Like,
Mm-hmm.
since there was no bottom,
Mm.
how do they agree to something like this? I mean, yeah, we can get the waist up. We can accurately describe the waist up.
Mm-hmm.
But anything from the belt, because we don't even see a belt in the original maquette, anything
Mm-hmm.
belt down,
Yeah. Well, then that's when maybe that's where we go and look at. No, I'm looking at the action figure right now, actually. Um, but maybe, like again, like with the belt. Here, I'll grab it. Look familiar? Uh,
oh, that's the one I
but
got
see, with
you.
the belt here, like again, we can probably just go by what they use in the action figure, because again, it would be kind of what they would do in real world, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's like a holster. One of the challenge, okay, we just had some audio problems, but we're back here. Trying to remember where we're talking about, but I think the belt thing, I remember seeing a belt that looked like an imperial belt,
Mm-hmm.
with a little rectangle thing on the front there. We did look at these designs, these alternate designs. Someone made this other maquette that had the same sort of smoking jacket style to it that looked pretty accurate to what we think it would look like.
Mm-hmm.
Simple white pants, pilot pants with the tunic up top. I think the challenge is going to be the boots and the knees and trying to find acceptance of this.
Yeah.
But once we get that costume done, let's talk past the costume, because like we said, we could think of all these plans and all this might change eventually. But one of the things we also had that's more, it's just as important as the costume, is how we carry ourselves out at a con. And this is where we start having the fun with it. So explain what some of the ideas you had.
Well, first of all, I figured that you and I would be like walking side by side, and like I'd look at you and say, right turn, and then we'd both like turn right at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And just, because, really, how do cloud car drivers fly? Yeah. It's like
I don't agree with I can't remember who told me this. Someone says, I'll be very upset if you guys aren't holding hands everywhere you go. And I was just like, I don't want to be holding hands. I get the joke.
It's a funny joke, but
it's
yeah.
But you and me had this
clammy.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I don't want to upset your partner, but
she won't care.
I was hoping that would be the reason. But it'd be cool, because we had also joked about how we'd have like either German techno music playing, and then all of a sudden Gel Spiel became German. And I was like a slash between German and Swedish. And here's
and yeah, just put the painting in the back of the car. Yeah, I've got a party at Stuttgart in an hour.
we have cloud car pilots. And we also became this Arnold Schwarzenegger sort of ripoff of Hans and Franz, just walking around. We're going to pump you up.
I forget. Oh man, I forget what we were saying, but it was something on the lines. Yeah, it just came out German. So I figured, why not? Yeah.
Yeah, we're cloud car pilots.
Yeah, that's all. Excuse me, sir, but can you please move over, please?
Millennium Falcon, pull over, we blast you.
Parking violation, yeah.
Lando doesn't want you here.
Get out.
Loba doesn't want you here.
No.
And Loba's the DJ sitting there.
Exactly.
Just got like this.
Unless if you have spice, please leave. And then I figured, then we can do the whole Sprockets thing, like the old Saturday Night Live.
He's a little girl.
Oh yes, yeah.
We get that Mike Myers going in there.
See, we can do so much fun with it.
It's a fun costume. Nobody, like you and me, said like 1% of the population of the normies is going to get this. Less than 1% of the normies is going to get it. But you even said maybe 1% of our own nerd friends will get this. But when you have that giant helmet and the costume, and you have two of them in a photo booth, it will be kind of fun.
Oh yeah, I think it would be.
It's just two people just kind of thumbs up, or just kind of because we saw that one of the things that sparked this conversation was seeing these guys. I think it was at Celebration. They dressed up as cloud car pilots. They had yellow dish gloves, yellow boots, big giant helmet, and they looked really good. And I saw his pictures years ago, and I still remember thinking that's a kick-ass costume.
But again, they look like the action figure, and it's, I don't know how accurate it is.
But one's got a mustache and one does not. And you and me had talked about how, if Duncan is the guy with the mustache and Gel is not. Gel is in the gunner's seat and Duncan's apparently the pilot. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I think I only got the idea of like them driving at the same time was through a Robot Chicken
There was I tried so hard to find some sort of Robot Chicken sketch. I couldn't find anything. Couldn't find Family Guy.
Was though.
Please let me know if you find it, because I could not find it.
Unless if it's like one of those Mandela effect things where it actually happened.
Berenstein Bears.
Yeah. Don't even get me started. But anyway, that's another podcast altogether. they're neat characters, and I think it's just I do think one should be German, yeah.
Yeah, I should be German.
Yeah.
And Duncan, like Duncan's very Scottish name, but
Hmm.
at the same time, does it matter? The fact
Yes.
that
Yes, it does. If we're gonna be characters, damn it, man, we got to get the full
be in
character.
character, shape up, man.
Yeah.
Get yourself together. Take this seriously. Okay, put on the bull hat.
Yeah, because if you
It would
don't
be a
put on
lot
that,
of fun.
I
I
think
think this would
so.
be a lot of fun just to stand in a booth and just goof around with the guests that come by
Hmm.
and just smile. I mean, it
Yeah.
wouldn't make sense with one guy. When you see
No,
one guy in there, and it's just like no.
you gotta
But you know,
photobomb people.
yeah, I still might wander around. Like I know I do a lot more trooping than you do, but one of the good things about this costume, if we can pull it off,
Hmm.
it's easy to store.
Hmm.
You can probably
Hmm.
put the entire costume into that bowl and just
Well, yeah, yeah, well, yeah. Even just the
fold it up, and then you got it fits nice and
yeah,
compact. It's easy to
yeah.
carry around, and that's one of the biggest things about when you're just trying to figure out what costume to have, and you got to transport this sucker. I mean, my friends were making fun of me, like we're going to Victoria, and it's like, how many costumes you bringing? I'm like, well, I'm bringing four people total, including myself. I think I can only bring the one. They're like, oh, poor baby.
Oh,
It'd be
really?
nice to have a second costume, like small, compact, slide it right in.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going.
this,
I'm going for the one day, and I'm bringing two. Actually, no. Technically, I'm bringing four. So come on, Rob.
how are you bringing four?
Well, I'm bringing my TIE pilot.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a twofer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'm bringing my ATST driver.
Are
So,
you
and
bringing a
that's yeah.
Wilro?
Are we doing a wheel row run?
There's talk of a Wilro,
Oh, I'm in.
and
If
that's
it's on a Sunday, because
yeah.
again,
I don't know.
For the VI con, I can only do Sunday, but
Yeah, that's
for
right.
the
Yeah,
one in Vancouver, the one that's before that,
we're getting off
um,
topic. Sorry.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, hose
But
nose.
so I had designed. Yeah, I don't even know if you watch this anymore. I'd love if you did, Hose Nose. But I designed a concept art based on the original concept art
Mhm,
that I think we can work off of, which with adjustments on the boots. I think I
mhm,
had one with it yellow and one with it black. I
mhm,
kind of like it yellow, but I do kind of like it black. It's more practical black,
mhm,
and I think either one will be totally acceptable. I really hope that the Rebel Legion will seriously consider this and
mhm,
not think of it as
mhm.
just two guys who are just trying to goof around, which is that is happening too.
Well, yeah, but that's all. That's part of the fun, though. Like it's just goofing around. Isn't that what we do it for? Well, there are other reasons,
Take it
but
seriously here. Yeah.
well, I'm sorry, but sometimes goofing around is fun to do.
It's a fun costume.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so actually one of the things we didn't talk about was the helmet. There
Mhm,
is 10 ridges. I think we briefly
mhm,
talked about it. The
mhm,
helmet itself's got 10 ridges. We saw that one guy sell it in England for with 9. It looks
mhm,
really nice. I really like his work,
mhm,
but we might have to try and figure out if we can find some friends or have somebody who can point us in the right direction of how
mhm,
to build this with 10 ridges
mhm,
from right up the middle,
mhm.
because the rest of it from an outsider it looks pretty standard build.
Yeah,
But then again, I don't build this sort of stuff, so everybody's like, oh, just 3D print it. Well, that's you just can't just say 3D
yeah,
print it. There's no STLs for this.
yeah,
I've looked. There's
yeah,
none.
yeah. We would have to do it ourselves, and
Yeah.
I no way. I suck at that. So
So we're going to have to start talking to a lot of people and figure
mhm.
this out. And maybe do we even consider just looking at the 9 ridge and just accept it and just hope for the best?
Well, I think what we should start off with, if we're gonna do the 9 ridge,
Mhm.
or if we're gonna do the 10, would first maybe discuss it, like reach out to the Rebel Legion and say,
Oh, yeah.
you know, because like again, like if like say for example we decide to get, you know, or say if we do the 10, you know,
Mhm.
ridged helmet, you know, and it's a pain in the ass to do. It just cluster after cluster. We get it
Yeah.
done, but then they say, oh yeah, well you could have gotten approved with the 9 one as well. It'd be like, oh,
And that's
damn
the
it.
thing. Like I've seen 9 nuns that have been approved that are not accurate.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's not throwing shade on the 9 nuns. They did it to what they felt it was the best design.
yeah,
But
yeah,
there are certain things like the collar should be this
yeah,
or the this should be that. And it was approved
yeah,
because it's relatively new.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of people out there who can say, oh, well, that's what it should be. But I feel I've done a lot of research on this. I spent a long time on this, and I'm still looking.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. I love looking at the smallest details of just the most obscure things. And this is obscure.
They're obscure characters, man. Like,
so this series that we're trying out here could either go, our goal is to do it by next year, fan expo.
Yeah.
That's the goal. That's the target. But it could take as long as that, or it could end within next week.
Yeah.
And just say none of this can really happen. And there's, then we can maybe talk from there. Like, what is the next step? Do we continue with something like this? Because the helmet, there's just so many pieces to this costume that's so challenging. It looks easy, but it's not. But
it's all your fault. It's all your fault, Rob. Even suggesting
I make things so complicated. I know.
You had to pick one of the hardest guys to get, right?
Well, you chose to come along with this ride.
Well,
you chose.
Yeah.
What's the term when people feel pleasure in someone else's failure? It's a German term.
With a Stockholm syndrome?
No. People are yelling it right now.
I'm drawing a blank. I don't know.
I was going to say glockenspiel. That's not it. I know. I'm going to pause this.
I love the glockenspiel, man.
Schadenfreude.
What the hell is Schadenfreude?
You've never heard of Schadenfreude? The experience of pleasure, joy, or self-satisfaction that comes from learning of or witnessing the troubles, failures, and pains and humiliation of other people.
Oh, sounds like a disease.
Schadenfreude.
You've got Schadenfreude.
Schaden and Freude. That's the two pilots. Schadenfreude.
Oh, yeah.
People will fall down. You fall down.
Oh, look at you, Schadenfreude.
You puny little man.
That's too close to Shat, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be known.
Now you're stretching that one.
Well, I don't want to be known as the poopy driver. Like.
Sorry, you have standards all of a sudden.
Well,
I do like German techno music. One of my favorite musicians is Scooter.
Really?
And have you heard Scooter? I sent some Scooter to you.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
How much is the fish? Fire.
Yeah, okay.
Mind the Gap. Oh my God. There's that 1% out there right now that knows what I'm talking about.
You've got a horrible taste in music, Rob.
I'm not denying that.
That's horrible.
I like what I like.
Well, hey, German techno is it's interesting. Oh, I'm having flashbacks already.
Oh, it's so good.
Hey, man.
All right. Anyways, we're gonna
get off topic.
Next episode, I'll go through the history of Duncan Hickmat and Spiel, the cloud car pilot. And I was able to chat with one of the people that gave them their names from Star Wars Insider.
Yes.
So that's how deep research I went into. I talked to a guy from Belgium who gave them their names.
See, there you go. German and Belgium names, man.
There's a reason. There's a method to the madness.
Yeah, great. Yes.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm full of chocolate. The land of chocolate.
La 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 la.
Oh, we could just walk like that, la, 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 just like Homer Simpson.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, we could even have like maybe one of those little like ghetto blasters or like little Bluetooth speakers behind us with the song, with the music, or whatever he's listening to as he's going through it.
I know the song you're talking about.
Yeah. I can't even.
Yeah. That's not it. That's another one, but it just came to my head.
I have it in my brain, but getting.
I'm gonna have to get a. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get a playlist. I got a playlist already playing in my head. That's gonna be playing when we walk around. We'll do Droid Hunt, and this is what we'll be doing.
Yeah. See, no one would suspect us to be Star Wars characters running around.
Oh, you got a little droid.
Look at you. Droid. Oh, it's so little. Look at you.
The little kinder.
No, but those are illegal in the US now, so they can't have kinders. No kinders for you, yeah. And just snatch them away. You choke on the chocolate, yeah. Oh, too bad for you. We're getting off topic.
We got to stop.
We can do this for hours.
All right. This is what we did last time when we talked about this.
We're going to lose subscribers.
What's less than 0?
Oh, come on. -5.
Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Dan, for talking about this. Where can we find you?
On Instagram, it's TK92420, and on Facebook, usually.
Outer Rim Rookie on Instagram and Facebook for me. Outer Rim Rookie Show as you're watching on the Generation X-Wing YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe if you want to see more of this craziness that's what we're going to be doing. And or look at the cool stuff that Jamie's putting out with Ready to Believe, or listen to the podcast. Every Saturday we have the Generation X-Wing podcast. We talk about pop culture, movies, reviews, all that sort of stuff. Lots of fun. So thanks for watching. Wish us luck. And remember, cloud car pilots are built on hope.
Yes, they are.
I hope this works.
I hope so too.